Hello, welcome back. Art of Cycling, and I'm Greg Leach, and still at the Tour de France, of course. And it's time trial day. Those of you who don't know, the time trial is a brutal discipline, I think. I've only ever done one in my life, and I sucked at it. So the time trial, as the name would imply, is you're racing just for time. It's a solo effort, oftentimes called the race of truth, because there's no team tactics well, that's not quite true, but there's no team racing. It's just you and how well you can do against the clock. Now, when I did it way back when, oh my God, over 50 years ago, that's discouraging. I had just experienced my first, I hate that I have to say, my first time being hit by a car. And so my thigh, where I'd taken the brunt of the hit, was not at its best, shall we say. Yeah. So I'm in my late 60s now. My birthday's coming up in about 2 weeks. Never get to celebrate my birthday because I'm spending so much time on the tour that although I've had the tour end on my birthday before. But anyway, I digress. So over the years, 50 plus years of cycling, I've been hit 10 times by cars. Crashed a lot more than that, but 10 times by cars is plenty enough. That first one that I was referring to sent me to the hospital. And as it stands now, the last one sent me to the hospital. Now, there are many traditions to the Tour de France, and Didi Stempf, aka the Devil, is certainly one of those. It's a little unusual to see him cheering the race on. At the time trial. Usually see him at the base of or halfway up a mountaintop climb. Seemingly appropriate, since, as I often use as a title, mountain, devilishly hard or something to that effect. And of course, thanks to social media, it is nice to have some sort of, as much as you know anybody in social media, myself included, it's kind of nice to see him. He's been all over the world lately, down in Mexico and South America. But again, I digress. So I'm just getting, and again, this idea of, paying attention to your composition. And actually that reminds me, I did want to make one point with these two pieces. So this is a relatively normal conversation for this, showing speed, and you always want to have space so that it implies the movement and he's going. This is the first piece I did today, and the current leader of the stage. It's the thing about the time trial, you don't know who's going to win until it's all over, so I often end up painting more than I necessarily intend to. But open space, but then in some ways, this is a no-no to have the direction of the figure going out of the page, but it implies speed. He was going so fast, I missed him as he went by. Of course, these are videos, so that isn't what actually happened, but that's the compositional idea. This is Tobias Foss, the Norwegian champion. By the way, Affini here is the European champion, so two very good time trialists. I just realized I didn't set this little help you track me down at gregleach.com. Of course, time trials, particularly in town, the course is barriered to keep the crowds away because they can have quite the effect of altering the race, and if they interfere with the rider or make him slow down, one, he's going to be really ticked off. But two, we're going to call this cheered on by the devil. I'm sure we'll see Didi a few more times. Tomorrow's a hilly stage, so he may have shown up. I believe he's Belgium, might be German. So, but always nice to find him. So I've gotten the composition, gotten the swirly motion, again implying speed, just as I did. There's a lot of speed going on, so of course it's not too hard to imply speed, right? Evidence of speed when there is speed is much more easy to depict than when there isn't. I'll move to flesh tone. And that, of course, is, what's the British way of saying it? Inverted commas. Yeah, that the idea of flesh tone. Even Crayola went, we probably shouldn't call that flesh tone anymore. And no longer do. Good on that company for recognizing the inherent bias in calling this color flesh tone. A flesh tone, but not flesh tone. Again, I digress. That's the thing about talking while I paint. Don't really want to give you all dead air, so. And of course the rider here is not only being cheered on by the devil, but by all of the French fans, as one of the perpetual French hopefuls. Unfortunately, hasn't quite delivered as well as they would have hoped. But Warren Barguil, but a French rider on, I believe, a Dutch team. Please correct me if I'm wrong. But running for Picnic Post, or Picnic Post NL, or the Netherlands Postal Service. Now, Didi is usually seen jumping almost maniacally up and down. I guess maniacally would be appropriate for the devil. Ran out of air there. It's a little more subdued here, but then again, I've been watching DD for a long time, painting him since 2012, but he was been a fixture of the tour long before that. And of course, a whole lot of his Instagram posts are selfies. Every fan of the tour wants a selfie with DD or with the devil. Actually, thinking about it, I'm a little stunned to see him today. So now, of course, I'm working through warm colors to cool, trying to show them, I mean, the huge crowds today. And but also, and now moving into the cool colors. Oh, I had started to talk about all of the barriers to keep the riders safe and the crowds at bay. And sort of course, not to miss an advertising opportunity, they are now draped, so they're metal cage barriers, fencing, portable fencing in essence, that are then covered with fabric. Advertising. You know, of course, one of the famous American sports is NASCAR, which are all about advertising, you know, covering cars. So, of course, you know, the cyclists and the roadside are not quite equally festooned, but festooned with company sponsors. So I find this similar. So PostNL, of course, is the Dutch Postal Service, NL for Netherlands. And of course, the persona non grata in the tour, Lance Armstrong, is, well, not his original team, but his team that he won the tour in. He originally rode for Motorola, you know, that old cell phone company. Does Motorola exist anymore? But won the tour wearing U.S. Postal. I actually have a replica of that kit because I bought it for my birthday right before I started working for the Postal Service. Something I did for a relatively brief time. All right. Let's see a little red that I missed, the back of Barguil's helmet. Yeah, it's a little strange to see Dee Dee standing on the ground. But that was where I was going. You know, I've been painting him for so long and seeing him for a lot longer. Because I've been painting the tour since 2012, so 12 years later, and he was graybeard back then. So maybe a little harder to leap wildly into the air now. And now I don't move as well as I did 20 years ago. Certainly don't ride as fast as I did 20 years ago, 10 years ago. So just giving a little indication of behind here. And of course that by laying in the sidewalk, because these banners are white, and that's the thing with watercolors. There's no white in watercolors. Now gouache, which is a water base and similar, I want to darken this blue so that actually fits with what I was trying to say. So there, it's a translucent color, so there's no white. So your white is the paper. So that takes a little forethought to make sure that which you want to be white isn't painted, because that's your only option. And one way you can do that is you can use rubber cement and block out a section to keep it, and then peel off the paint afterwards. So in the skin suits that they wear, they have a little plastic, for lack of a better word, covered pocket sleeve for their numbers, and they just stick it in because it's a whole lot less drag than having numbers pinned to your back, although I think nowadays they are stuck, which of course they oftentimes unstick themselves. So the last bit here I'm going to do is the roadway, and again, that will convey, help you see the white of the banner along the side of the road. And it's also, you notice my brush stroke is following the curve of the roadway, so that should any brush strokes be apparent, they help with the directional and implied speed of the image. Apparently I got a high eyelash there. We'll pick that off later. All right. So of course all of these works get posted on my website. Well, first at the cycling blog, theartofcycling.blogspot.com, and then they go to my website, gregleach.com, but at the cycling blog, you will find a link to each piece where you can purchase them. So far we sold about a quarter of the work, and unfortunately this year print options aren't there, alas. So thank you so much for watching. Of course, leave a comment, tell me what you think, post any questions, and I'll get back with you. I do thank those of you who have been commenting, and it's just another fun part of it all. So thanks again, folks, and make sure to subscribe so you can see each one of these as they appear in the coming days.